Dolphins thirsty, they never show no mercy. On the field or in the game, Miami knows how to play. Dolphins thirsty, we all get down and dirty. Tell you what you wanna know, it's the Dolphins Show. Quench your thirst for all things Miami Dolphins. They are the football kings, cause they play to win. Come on in and have some fun, whether we have lost or we have won. For all things Miami, it's Dolphins Thursday.
Hello, Miami Dolphins fans. It's a Finstastic Friday. Once again, our Miami Dolphins are getting ready to take on the defending Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs, over in Frankfurt, Germany. Should be a fun game to watch. Two very good teams going at it. Kansas City's already proven they can take it all the way to the house and win it all. It's time for our Miami Dolphins to prove that they can win it all at the end of this season. But this is a big step in that direction. Doesn't mean it's over. As Mike McDaniel pointed out in his press conference this morning, our time, afternoon, their time, over in Frankfurt, Germany, he pointed out it's just one game. And if we win, we're a 7-win team. And is a 7-win team going to get into the playoffs? Most likely not. But he does realize it's a big game. Every game a big game in the NFL, he pointed out, because it's 1/17th of the schedule. So you got to win that game each and every week. So all the hype around this game, you've seen it all week. Can't turn on it if you watch sports at all. This is a game they're hyping up. It's the big game of the week. Starts 9:30 Eastern Standard Time for you guys on other time zones. I mean, earlier than that, 9:30 for us here on the East Coast. So early morning, wake up and watch Miami Dolphins football. So it should be a lot of fun. On the injury front, looks like Armstead is progressing nicely. So that is good news. Unfortunately, Robert Hunt has been ruled out for the game. So he is not going to play. And it leaves most likely Robert Jones at left guard, and then Cotton will move over to right guard to replace Hunt. So that's going to be, a little bit tricky on the offensive line. So that's like some of the good morning, Steve. You're more than welcome to hop in here, Steve. Not if you want. I know you're out there working, but yeah, Robert Hunt's been ruled out. So we are going to have a little bit of a makeshift offensive line in the beginning, but that's okay for this game. And then by the next game, hopefully. The good news is, though, like I said, Armstead progressing nicely. They're going to see how he practices today, though, before any decision on game day. Connor Williams looks like he's going to be a go, so we get a big cog back in there as far as that front. So we are looking good there, and I'm anticipating a much better defense, as I touched on in yesterday's show, that we got all those guys returning on defense. So expecting an improving D. They have been getting better each week. They're slowly getting up there. Still giving up a little too many points, total, but you can get that down. You can start. This week's going to be tough to get that point total down, because Kansas City's not going to have 2 games in a row where they only drop in with 3 field goals. That's going to be a tough ask for our defense. But as like Mike McDaniel pointed out, all this must-win talk, Mike McDaniel said today, is just basically the 1/17th of the schedule, because someone asked him if it was like a must-win game. He was saying, well, what I can tell you is going to happen is if we lose, people are going to say, well, they can't beat the good teams. And if we win, everyone's going to say we're the Super Bowl favorites. He goes, at the end of the day, it's 1/17th of the schedule. He goes, if we win, we're a 7-win team. As a 7 wins is not very good at the end of the season. So he's keeping it in perspective, but you could tell he would love to get this victory. You can tell. I mean, he wants to get him every victory, but you could tell he had a little extra this morning. If you haven't seen it after the show, go run and check out McDaniel's press conference. It's kind of fun. He was going on. Seems like his wife just got over there to Germany with their daughter, so they're going to hang out a little bit. It seems like he got all the work out of the way. They're ready. They're set. not much more to do other than be ready on Sunday to take on those defending Super Bowl champions. Hey, good morning, Bobby. Fins up. Welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the show. I know there's a lot of other guys going this morning, and the great Miss Fins, who would normally be in here a lot of times watching, ran late this morning. She's going. It's for you guys to find me. It is awesome. Big fins up to all you guys. Wonderful stuff. And Steve and Bobby Finstock of the Finstalk Sports Network, where Steve can also be found along on my show. And Steve and I have a show tomorrow night where we're going to talk about the game. We're not going to do our normal pregame because Steve's an hour behind. I mean, so he's an hour behind. He would have to really wake up early for us to do our pregame ahead on Sunday morning, since the Dolphins go at 9:30 our time on the East. We are going to do our pregame 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night, Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. You can find Steve and I talking about the game going into the next day. Knowing Bobby, he's going to have an early morning show Sunday. I don't know what his schedule is like, but you could probably find them before the game on Sunday at some point, him and Evan. So, yes, Steve, you are right. 7-2 doesn't count, get you into the playoffs. You are 100% correct. And I liked how McDaniel phrased it. He didn't say it's not an important game, but he's also not saying it's like the must win and that, they're horrible if they don't win. So he's just putting it in perspective. It's just one game, no matter what. I liked how he said it. I will repeat it just in case there's new people coming in. What he said was perfect. Like, if we lose, then he already knows the narrative. So, he knows and listens. As much as they say that they don't listen to the media, they listen. So, because he said, oh, if we lose, they're going to say, oh, Miami can't beat the good teams. If we win, oh, Miami's the Super Bowl favorites, and he knows how it goes. And then next week, it's the bye week, but then you go get upset by the Raiders, and it's like, oh, Miami's back to being Miami. That's just how we run as fans, how the media covers it almost like fans. They overreact all the time. It's just what it is. Mike McDaniel is very, very, very aware of that. So it seems to be. So it's good to know that he realizes where the fans are standing and what the media would say. It's funny. It was a good press conference. He even joked about, like, sometimes I think it was like kind of in reaction to his, let's see. Yep, let's see. I'm going to suffer and do my pregame in the morning at 8 a.m. or 8:15. Guys, that's on the Finstalk Sports Network. Make sure you follow it up. And again, thank you for joining us, Bobby, this morning. Little light audience, but that's fine. It'll give me an excuse to go enjoy my Friday a little bit earlier before I had to do all the father things once my son gets home. So it'd be all good stuff here. Yeah, I knew Bobby would go. He's always has a show, man. They even do night game post games when the teams go at night, man. They're a machine over there at the Finstalk Sports Network, but they keep it very human, guys. So make sure you watch them. So it should be what I'm interesting to see is how the offensive line performs. Armstead, like I said, they're going to watch him practice today, so we would get a better feel from that. Connor Rillins is back. Robert Hunt is out. That's what scares me the most because Robert Hunt's been playing really well up there, above average, as Steve would point out when he goes over his PFF grades. He's been playing well. It's going to be interesting to have him out. But we still got Austin Jackson. Maybe Armstead, maybe not Armstead. Historically, the Dolphins never really bring back their guys when they open the 21-day window. They normally don't bring them back that first week. They like them to get ready. But from what McDaniel said today, that he's been impressed with Armstead's progression, but that he wanted to watch him again today in practice. I'm hoping he's a go, which would be an interesting decision because they do not have an open roster spot. So they're going to maybe have to get rid of someone on the roster while over in Germany. I don't know. But they could tell them, hey, you're going to be on the practice squad if you clear waivers. So very interesting. But like I said yesterday, it's the NFL. Feelings get pushed aside, and the need for the team is number one priority. So that would be awkward to tell the guy, hey, thanks for coming to Germany, but guess what? We're cutting you because Armstead got the roster spot. So we will see. And I don't think there's really anyone eligible to go on. I don't think there's anyone injured that they can place on injury reserve to free up a spot. I'm not sure. They could cut someone and tell them, hey, we're bringing you back to the practice squad. That's a possibility. Who knows? But they have to clear waivers for that to happen. So it's always fun to talk Miami Dolphins football. You rock, Steve. I know you're out there probably working over there in Houston, but like I said, you're welcome to come in if you want. Olo and how the defensive backfield plays. Yes, that's going to be interesting. Now that we're going to finally get to see what we long anticipated. We wanted to see when they acquired Ramsey in the offseason. It was like, oh, we can't wait to see X and Ramsey form one of the better tandems, cornerback tandems in the NFL. Looks like we're finally, because last week, we got to take, we've had some of Xavier this year, but no Ramsey. This past week, Ramsey comes back, but no Xavier. Could just be the week. And it seems like the worlds are emerging over there in Germany for this to happen. If we get Ramsey, we get Xavier Howard, we get Javon Holland all in the game at the same time. That should help. And what a week to help when you're facing the best quarterback in football, Patrick Mahomes. So it's definitely the week to have our best guys back doing their thing. Chubb has been playing well. Phillips, all these guys, those pressures are going to start becoming sacks with these guys back in the back defense. Those split seconds that these better defensive backs hold on to their coverage, it's going to give those quarterback pressures. They might become sacks, or at least the quarterback hits might become sacks. The pressures may become quarterback hits, which makes them throw bad throws. Who knows? But what I do know is it's a good thing getting these guys back. And we're, basically at the halfway mark. This Kansas City game at halftime, technically, is going to be the halfway mark of the season now that we got a 17 game schedule. Because currently we had already been, how we used to be. We're 6-2 in the old 16 game schedule. We would be already at the halfway mark at 6-2. And if you would have told me, hey, at the 8 game mark, they'd be 6-2, I would have taken that every day. And like I reference all the time, if it was the price is right, and they told me you can have here, you already have this in your hand at 6-2, but you can pick what's behind curtain number 13. And I always use 13 for the Dolphins reference, but I would take what's in my hand because behind 13 could be a lot more. 6-2, you're looking good. You're in first place in the AFC East. That's part of the 6-2. They would have told you, hey, and that would be good for sitting in place all alone in the AFC East. I would take that every day of the week. I love it. They're playing well. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter until crunch time. We get to the playoffs later in the season. So this is win. But what helps those two in the playoff is to have home games. It's the key ingredient that the Dolphins in these one and done recent seasons, they have not done. They went and lost to Buffalo last year. The year before that. Hey, no problem, Steve, man. I had a feeling today because a lot of my audience is over at Miss Fins, which I don't mind. We're all one big team member, but I normally get hers, but she overslept this morning. So she even said, oh, I'm running late, Dolphin Thursday. Hey, but it's all great. We're one big family and people can catch me after. It's all good. I don't mind. What I do mind, though, I just hope that the Dolphins, oh, yes, guys, please hit the thumbs up button here on YouTube and Facebook. Good to see my face. I actually have some Facebook people I see on there, so that's good on that front. Already got some likes over on the Facebook side of things. So I love seeing that audience grow. Would love to see more feedback and comments from the Facebook crowd. That I'm working on. It's a step-by-step process, but I appreciate all you guys for those thumbs up you give me over there. I see on my feed here. So thank you so much. Thank you, Steve. And I know you catch more later. And we will do our show tomorrow night, which is going to be a lot of fun. So I can't complain, guys. The Dolphins 6-2, hitting into the big game of the year. It's been hyped up by Dolphin fans, but this one's been hyped up nationally. I was sitting somewhere last night with TVs on a whole bunch of places, and my son and I kept on saying, "Well, there's the Dolphins again. There's the Dolphins again. There's the Dolphins." Everyone's talking about this games. All the networks are talking about this games. It'd be nice to see. We're going to be the only team playing. Thursday night football's already been done, over with. So the next game on the NFL docket is our Miami Dolphins taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. So that is a beautiful thing. We should have a lot of eyeballs for all those people willing to wake up. Dolphin fans and Chiefs fans will be willing to wake up. Will be interesting to see how the Kansas City Chiefs and Dolphin fans show up, or is it going to be more of an international flair of just like some of those London games where you see random jerseys from every team in the NFL and some old throwbacks from the old days? Or is it going to be a lot of hardcore Dolphin fans in there? Is there going to be a lot of hardcore Kansas City fans in there? I think it'd be a mixture of all. I do know some Dolphin contingent have gone over there. I've seen their photos on Twitter, like Bob Fins and all these guys traveled over there, and they've been posting pictures around Germany enjoying the week since the Dolphins have been there. So it should be very, very interesting to see how things shape up from the fans' perspective on that front. But as I know one thing for sure, without a doubt, it's not going to be as crazy as Arrowhead would have been. Can you imagine that? 2 6-2 teams going at it. That would have been amazing into Arrowhead. But hey, I think the Dolphins got the better end of the stick on that one. But going into Arrowhead, not only 2 6-2 teams, but also the fact that Tyreek Hill would have been returning to Arrowhead. So that would have been insane. But hey, 6-2 teams going overseas, playing the first team ever NFL regular season game in Germany, in Frankfurt, Germany, I should say. And hey, it's going to be awesome. Later in the season, we're going to play the first ever Black Friday game in NFL history. So the Dolphins are making some history this year, even if we don't win. But the only history I know as Dolphin fans we all care about is winning the Super Bowl at the end of the year. But to get there, you got to take these steps and get there week by week. That's how I'm looking at it in this season of no excuses for the Miami Dolphins. This team was built to win and win now. And so far, they're living up to that. Yes, they've lost to the 2 teams with winning records that are good teams, but they're also beating the teams that they're supposed to beat, which good teams do. Good teams have to beat the teams they're supposed to beat. But believe me, that was New England's recipe for years to get to the Super Bowl, beat all the teams that they're supposed to beat, and they did that very well. You don't be a good team by losing to the teams that you're not supposed to beat. So on that front, that's fine. I don't find that as a negative. Oh, you haven't beaten any good teams. Well, we haven't lost to any bad teams. Why don't you flip the narrative and say it that way? We haven't lost to any bad teams. So we got a 6-2 record. I know I've said probably 6-2 up 62 times already this morning, but hey, it's good. Yes, hey, Mr. Justin, always you're welcome to come in if you want to join me. Justin, it's always good. As you can see, the audience is a little bit light today, but my spirit for the Dolphins is never light. It's always fins up in this world of mine. So it's great to have Justin come in and nail the show. My Mr. AJ Dewey Jersey connection. He is awesome, guys. Find him on Twitter, JPF Scout. But yes, this week is very, very important for sure, Mr. Justin, to get in the trenches, without a doubt. But like Mike McDaniel said, you can't overreact either way. McDaniel said today, Justin, he said, if we lose, is that we can't beat good teams. If we win, people are going to say we're the Super Bowl favorites. So McDaniel is aware of the narrative going out there. Hey, crazy Dolphin, thank you for dropping in. I know Miss Fins was going late this morning, so I appreciate you coming and giving me a quick hi, and hopefully, oh no, crazy Dolphin, I know the situation. It's all good. You're over there watching other great content with Miss Fins. I do not mind. It's awesome. You guys rock. It's good to see you come in. Better late than never. As always, Mr. Crazy Dolphin is rock. I'm going to drop the link for you guys. If you guys want to join. If you don't want to join, that's fine too, because the one thing we all agree on, Steve, is we agree that we want the Miami Dolphins to win. There's a link, guys, if you guys want to join. Just remember, we are a Finstastic family here. We stick together. We may disagree on how the team should do stuff, but we all agree we want them to win. And that's no different this Sunday over in Germany. Doesn't matter where they play, we want them in there playing at their peak. And that's what I'm looking forward to today. And I think this is it. I think this game is shaping up nicely. This game, there is no excuse this game other than, we got a couple banged up offensive linemen once again. Hey, good morning, Shake Money. It's doing great, my neighbors. It's another beautiful day in Zamuda. Shake Money. It's always a beautiful day when you enter the room. At least I think so. There. Oh, Anthony. I didn't even know Anthony was in the room, and Anthony's coming in. Good morning,
No, I was
Anthony.
in the room. I just clicked on the link.
Hey, no problem. Well, good morning, Anthony. How are you?
Good morning. Hey, Rob. For you, like, if these games are successful, and you see the games being sold out, like in Germany and Europe in general
Yeah.
for these NFL games, instead of constantly having to, like, people are predicting one of the American teams moving over to London, like Jacksonville. I
Yeah, I
understand
know
Jackson.
Jacksonville's always the team
Yeah,
mentioned on that
no, but
front.
instead of doing that, how about just building? You already have the infrastructure from NFL Europe with the teams that were in Germany. You can bring that bring those teams back and have those teams represent Germany and open up more. Or is that too?
Yeah.
Do you think that's
Hey,
too much work?
yeah, I don't know. It's a good question, Anthony, and that's something that would definitely we'll be seeing soon. But the NFL is definitely interested in being over there. The way they're
Yeah,
doing it now may just be the way
I
they
see this
keep
a
doing.
close game too. The Dolphins game. I
Yeah.
I 27-23 Dolphins.
Hey, I like that, man. I like that. Hold on, Crazy Dolphin. Yes, Digging, that is true. Robert Hunt is out, and Mike McDaniel said that in the press conference today.
And this is
So
where I'm pissed that we didn't make a trade for a guard or someone like a
yeah,
depth
hey,
piece.
I know, but at the end of the day, the salary cap is real in the sense during the season. It's kind of hard to free up that money because we had like $3 million, and that's after freeing up money with the Sanders moving on the contract, and we were just at
I
three
thought we
million because
put did we put I thought we put what's his face on IR. Uh Armstead. I thought we put on
yeah, Armstead
LTIR.
is on IR, but his 21-day window has been opened, so he could
Yeah,
come
no, that's
back.
why. That's what I was wondering. I thought we put him on long term IR, and that does long term IR in the NFL work the same way as like you see with hockey, where it opens up cap room if you put the player on
No, no, it
LTIR.
does not free up cap room at all. So that's tough.
Oh
And he
yeah,
wasn't he
so
was
it's
just
not
on
like
the IR, but he could come back after 4 games and he's eligible to come
okay,
back.
so
But
the LTIR in the NFL doesn't work like you see with hockey,
yeah, no,
where
that
it.
cap and in the NFL it's tough. I mean when you cut these guys most of the time it hurts your cap. So it's tough that way.
I
But
kind
hey,
of wish
good.
the NFL had a rule like that where if you put your player, it opens up whatever cap they have if you put them on LTIR because you don't know when the player's coming back. It can free
Yeah,
up that cap room and you can sign a player or trade for a player.
yeah, well, I don't know. I would
Yeah,
have to look, but I don't think so because teams would be using that all the time to free up cap space, and I don't know, but you might be right. I would look into that, Anthony, but not on the one they did with Armstead because he was eligible to come back after 4 games. Let me welcome in Crazy Dolphin. How are you, Crazy Dolphin?
Hey, Mr.
I'm
Polk.
doing. I'm going good. How's it going, Dolphin Thursday and Anthony? Just want to kind of pick back a little bit off of you, Anthony. I I think I feel that the coaching staff um, because of cap space, and also because they're pretty much happy with the roster. That's why they didn't really make no moves, because they feel comfortable with the roster, and that
Yes.
we're getting some players back as well. So that might be the reason why they didn't make no moves. And then as far as the offensive line go, again, I know I've said this many times on other platforms. Bush Berry is doing a great job with our offensive line. And when someone goes down, it's like you plug and play them, and they don't, they play it well. So kudos to Bush Berry. And as far as the
So,
game
sorry,
goes,
sorry,
no,
crazy
go
enough. If
ahead.
my internet, it's not like I'm not paying attention to you. My internet in the house here keeps on going in and out, but I'm listening to you.
Oh, okay. No problem, because it happens down here too. And then as far as the game goes, with KC, um, it just this is just my opinion. KC is a good team, but they may be underestimating our team. By not going over there as early as we done, because we've been over there for days now and got used to the weather over there and what have you. And
The
so
time difference. Yep.
right. And so to me, I think the score is going to be kind of close, or maybe in the slight blowout, depending on how KC adjusts to the weather over there.
Or
What's the stadium we're playing in? Do you know? Uh, Dolphins Thursday.
Dutch. I better make sure I say Dutch. Deutsche Bank over
Stadium.
there. Yeah,
Right.
don't
Yeah.
Bank
It's
Stadium.
Deutsche Bank Stadium.
Yeah,
yeah.
there you go.
Yeah,
So,
no. That's what I was wondering. Like, I wonder if it's in Munich, right? We're playing in
no,
Munich.
Frankfurt. It's in
Frank.
Frankfurt.
Oh, that's where the Frankfurt Dragons played. I just realized that remember the Frankfurt Dragons from the
Yeah,
NFL
yeah,
Europe.
I remember them.
yeah. No, so yeah, that's where we're playing in Frankfurt, Germany. I've read some people saying it's retractable roof, but then I heard other people mentioning weather conditions. So I don't even know
Yeah,
if it's
no, it's my friend. My friend's over there because of the military in Frankfurt, and he said
yeah,
it's already in the middle of winter there.
yeah, I
So it's
know.
gonna
So that's
be
why.
it's gonna be negative 45 degrees there.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
back it up, binge podcast. Yeah, and it's been supposedly going to rain a lot over the weekend over
Yeah,
in Germany
it's
as
gonna
well.
it's gonna be cold and rainy.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be snowing, but it's gonna be
Yeah.
raining the whole time there.
Yeah.
Well,
And good morning, Kevin Pittman from Facebook. I love it. We got a Facebook comment in there. Yeah. Yes, they are getting better sleep too. We will see
hmm
how that pays. Only matters
Jet
come
lag, jet
Sunday.
lag. People
jet lag is
over
serious.
No,
no,
it is.
yeah,
It's definitely.
yeah, no, but the Dolphins are there already acclimating and stuff like that.
Right.
But
Right.
you can still deal with jet lag. Last depending on the person, jet lag can last 5 or 6 days and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
No,
So
I know some people are like that. So we're hoping that Kansas City has a little bit about that. Justin, you might be right. Maybe it was stubbornness on why they didn't make a move. But it was also that I think they knew they had some returning players was kind of like some moves, maybe in a little bit of a way. They knew they were getting
how serious
Armstead
is the
back.
Robert Jones injury? Robert Hunt injury? Is he out for the rest of the season or?
It's game to game, but he has been ruled
Mhm.
out for this Sunday, so
Yeah.
he's not going to play. He was walking around the practice today. All the reporters were saying, but he's been ruled out, so he will not play. But hopefully Armstead will play. We will see, and then you got Connor Williams, and then you got a really good chance of, improving on that front on the offensive line. I would like to see it because this is no joke, and they got their Chris Jones, who's really good
Yeah.
up front.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I
I don't
definitely
want
have to see.
I don't want Eichenberg to deal with Chris Jones. that's
Yeah,
that's disastrous for Tua.
Yeah.
yeah,
Chris
no, I
Jones.
know, and that's the worst part is getting that pressure from the middle. It's just like that. I mean, every quarterback hates it. That's why I love it when someone last week when they were analyzing the Dolphins getting ready to place New England, the Edelman's like, "Oh, Tua doesn't like pressure
Uh,
up the middle,"
I'll,
and
I'll use
I'm like,
I'll
"What
use
quarterback?"
I'll use a term from another sport. In boxing, they say the worst shot is the shot you don't see. Uh,
Right.
it it's the same thing for a quarterback. The worst shot is a shot either up the middle or the shot you don't see and stuff like
Yeah.
that. That's how you get injured all the time.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
But the shots coming up the middle, though, I mean, just I mean, if it's not like a sack, but the pressure up the middle is the most disruptive to our quarterback because it blocks their field of vision and it's just
Hmm.
right there in their face and they can't even step up into the pocket. So that's why when Edelman was saying, "Oh, Tua doesn't like to be pressured up the middle," I'm like, "Well, what quarterback likes to be pressured up the middle?" I mean, come on, man. I
Exactly.
mean, that's like
Uh,
I've never
I
played pro
Tom,
football, and I
well,
can't.
Tom
technically,
Brady didn't like it.
Michael Vick liked it.
Yeah, well, Michael Vick was another one. Tom Brady definitely crazy Dolphin did not like it. That used to be when Tom Brady did have
Peyton
his
Manning
bad
hated it.
games.
Peyton Manning said that's the work for him since he's just a statue. He said that's either on his blind side or up the middle. He hated getting pressure.
Hmm. I know
Oh, they
Tom
all
Brady
do.
didn't
So
like it.
yeah,
Yeah.
like unless you like, or like you said, Anthony, like a Michael Vick that got wheels that can get out of there and run better than all those guys. But most of these guys
Cam
that are
Newton,
running down the field with the intent to
the
pass.
running quarterbacks have the benefit of just running out of the pocket to avoid that and stuff like
Right.
that.
No, I mean
That
that's where they definitely
Tua
have.
Tua is a mobile quarterback, but like I said, his mobility is like an Aaron Rodgers. He uses it to extend the pocket, not to
Right.
run. They're not using it to run like a Michael Vick or Cam Newton, but they're using it
Right.
to extend the pocket. That's the
Hmm.
type of
Right.
mobility Tua has. It's
Right, and
not.
he's good at that and buying a little extra time. Plus, he gets
Yeah.
rid of the ball quick too, which is and some people want to use that as like a knock, and I'm like, well, that's good, guys. And but that's the knock they use Crazy Dolphin because they want to try to say, well, he only gets rid of the ball because he has like Tyreek Hill and Waddle to throw to. He couldn't do
No,
that in
the
any
the
other
criticism I
offense.
have for Tua is when it comes to that, he tries to be too perfect with being accurate and being like that. That's
Yeah,
what I always say with him. The accuracy and the quick release sometimes it's a detriment to him because of the fact he's trying to be too perfect. Do you agree?
yeah. Yeah, I agree, but I think Crazy Dolphin will agree too. I think he's gotten better on that front this year. He's not trying to
Exactly.
be as perfect, and he's
Mm-mm.
like sometimes he will just throw
And
the
I've
ball away
I've
this
always
year.
criticized his passes too. He te- a place like Germany where it's going to be raining and super windy,
Yeah,
you can't have too much air underneath your ball and stuff like that.
yeah.
He
So what
But
doesn't
Crazy?
zip the
but
ball. That's the issue with Tua. He over relies on having too much air underneath his ball too. Do you agree, Mr. Polk, or is
well,
that being too critical?
here's the thing, and I'm not gonna say you being too critical. I mean, you making some good points, but here's the thing. I think with Tua, he's mature, progressed, show leadership, and I think he will make the adjustments according to how the weather is over there. Because like I said, I watched him at Alabama and in certain games where he had to make adjustments according to the environment that he was playing in. So I think Tua will be able to make the adjustment. And we got to understand now, there's no such thing as the perfect quarterback. All quarterbacks have
Dan
their
Marino was
flaws.
close enough.
Right, but I'm just saying all quarterbacks have their flaws. So we,
I mean,
the thing is with Tua, he's
yeah,
progressed from the past years to where he's at now, and he's to me he's on that he's on the way up as far as his quarterback skills go and leadership and everything else. So we just gotta uh uh
No,
what's the word, pray and hope that he makes the adjustments when
yeah, no,
if the
no. The
weather's
reason why I bring that up is because I've noticed when we go up to Buffalo, let's say if we had, let's say the home game for Buffalo was during December and stuff like that, and it's during very windy conditions, having a lot of air on your ball is a mistake because you need to zip the ball constantly to cut through the wind, and having a Tua's ball has a tendency to put so much air underneath his ball that the wind knocks it down and stuff like that. And that's where I kind of worry in Germany, where he doesn't have a lot of zip on his ball, like you see with a Patrick Mahomes, where he throws the ball, he throws it on a dime, or a Herbert, where their ball doesn't get affected by the wind.
Maybe their long ball, but a lot of the other passes he throws, though, Anthony, like he hits a lot of crossing routes and a lot of those, and those have some zip on them where he's not throwing. I understand what you're saying when he's throwing
the deep
down
ball
the
is
field.
what I'm worried about, where
Yeah, I
he
know,
puts
but
so much air underneath it.
Right. But I think that's a problem with almost any quarterback that's making a long pass and in the windy condition, that you have to make the adjustment how you throw the ball down the field, knowing
Yeah.
that the direction of the winds and what have you. You have to just be a quarterback that knows how to make that adjustment, because every quarterback, going to me, if I'm not mistaken, going to have to face that kind of situation where you're in a windy environment and you can't throw the ball long like you want to, so you have to make that adjustment. And I
No,
think
no, but
Tua
what I'm
has.
saying is that the ability to change, Tua seems one dimensional with his deep ball. Like he tends to throw a lot of air underneath the ball instead of zipping. Like, that's what I mean. Like, having a lot of he puts too much touch in the ball instead of zipping it, which zipping the ball through the wind is way better than putting touch, because having so much touch on the ball can during windy conditions like that can
Yeah, well,
actually affect your air yardage, is what I'm
right.
saying.
Yeah, I know. I mean, this is all true, Anthony. Like I said, maybe he will throw a little more, but they will adjust to that. McDaniel's going to
Is
see.
Tua's arm not designed for adding so much zip to the ball? Is that what it is? That's why he uses so much touch? Over relies on touch instead of zipping the ball?
I mean,
Is
I
his
don't
arm
think,
strength not? Is his?
Anthony. I don't mean to cut you. I don't think Tua is one dimensional as you think. I really don't. I think that he's, like I said, he has a skill set and he has the knowledge of football to, like I said, make adjustments according to the environment or according to the what the defense gives him, or allows him. So I think he can make the adjustments that's needed to to give us, to give us the W. So I'm not, I don't think he's this that I don't think he's as one dimension as you may think. I mean, he may seem that way, but I don't think he is. And he has enough football skills to make the adjustment. That's the
I
main thing
joke
we got to
around.
keep in
I joke
mind.
around, Mr. Polk, too. I
Hmm.
joke around. I kind of wish I had a NFL quarterback that grew up in cold weather, like in New York, or like up north, where they grew up with that type of weather, where their ball doesn't like, like a guy like Joe Burrow. He grew up in Ohio most of his life, and he dealt with that cold blizzard conditions and stuff. And that's what I don't like about these quarterbacks that grew up in the South. They never dealt with that type of weather and stuff like that.
I mean, you make up some fair points, Anthony, but like Crazy Dolphin, Mr. Polk said, there's a lot of, every quarterback's going to have some flaws to their game. And yes,
Are we
Tua,
gonna
he's
double
never going to
cover?
win any arm contest in the NFL. He's never going to have
Yeah.
the rocket arm.
Do you guys think
But
we're gonna have to double cover? Uh, what's his face?
Kelsey,
Well,
Kelsey
Kelsey,
most of the game.
I hope Ramsey's on Kelsey is my
yeah,
personal hope
yeah,
that they put
same here.
We're
Ramsey
gonna
on
have to
him a
double
lot.
cut. Like, Ramsey's a good corner, but relying on just one Kelsey, I can't remember. Who did he burn? It was a great corner that was covering him. Oh, it was Patrick Surtain. Patrick Surtain moved into the slot to cover him, and he got burned. And Patrick Surtain is a really great corner too, and he burnt him multiple times and stuff like that.
Oh no, there's no doubt they're going to have to double him
Double
some, but
cover,
I
yeah,
would like to see like
I would
got
Ramsey.
to.
rather the receivers
Yeah.
on the boundary beat us than Kelsey, to be honest.
Kelsey, yeah. because he's a big body. Once he gets that ball and he starts moving forward, he's not hard. He's not easy to bring down. But yes, I agree that we would have to have double coverage
Yeah, yeah,
on him.
definitely
And
double
then
cover him. But I agree, Danny, coming from Facebook. Thank you, Danny. Make sure you nail those buttons for us over there. Ramsey would be on Kelsey most of the game, is what he's saying, and we have Holland back. I know that's a nice. Those are nice guys to have back for sure going
yeah,
into this game. But I'm with you guys. Don't let Kelsey beat you. If we come back as I don't want to because Kelsey went off for 100 something yards and 2 touchdowns or something. Let someone else. If they're wideouts beat you, they're wide. Don't let the one guy you know is their stud beat you. You know, try to shut him down the best you can and let someone else beat you if they're going to beat you.
Yeah.
So, you know, to
What's
me,
scary? You know what I hope they don't do is put Brandon Jones on him.
no, Brandon
Brandon
Jones
Jones
is
didn't even
not
travel with.
playing.
Yeah, he's still in
He
South Florida after the concussion. Like,
concussion, right? He's hurt.
yeah.
He's out
Who's
for
our
the game.
safety duo this game?
Well, Javon Holland, Deshaun Elliott, but Nick Needham may
Nick
get some
Needham, yeah.
action. Yeah, I would like to see Nick Needham back there. Very interesting. Deshaun Elliott's done well this year. You know, he may not have the big flashy plays, but he's been very solid back there. So I think we're okay on that front. Don't you, Mr. Polk?
Yes, yes, yeah. Because Nick Needham was actually playing in the last game, but he was on special teams just to get
Wh-
get just to warm up. So we probably will see him more
So with
in this game
Jalen,
here.
with Jalen covering Kelsey most of the game, you guys think
Who?
does that mean Cam Smith is going to start this game
No, I don't think
Uh,
so. I don't
on
know
the
what
boundary?
his injury status is. Hopefully he's better. But
No, I don't
I'm
think
not
he's
as sure if
injured.
Ramsey's going to cover him. I'm just saying I
I
hope
don't
they
think.
rotate sometimes, and
See,
put him on him.
see, I don't think Cam Smith is. I've said this. I don't think it's any injuries. It's just the track record of a Fangio. He doesn't play rookies their first year,
Yeah.
and people always bring Patrick Surtain. Patrick Surtain is just uh, he's the exception to the rule. You're bringing the exception up. Like that's what I hate when people bring up Patrick Surtain. He's the exception.
No, there's always an exception to the rule, no doubt about that. And yes,
But in
Fangio has
general,
a
when you look at
history of not
his track,
trusting.
but in
Yes,
general,
no, yes, I agree 100%. Fangio's track record is not to trust the younger players. He likes the veterans. That's why we brought in a David Long instead of drafting a line. He likes a guy that comes in there. They know they're NFL players. They're ready to go. And David Long's been good, and that's why he likes Van Ginkel. I mean, though Van Ginkel's not even an inside linebacker, he's played him back there a lot because he likes the
right.
veterans over, trying to find a rookie to come up and step up in the defense or whatever. So, I mean, that's for sure. And that could be part of the Cam Smith. But evidently, he was getting ready to play, but then he hurt a foot, and then he hasn't gotten any special
then
teams
what
play.
happened to Tyndall? This is his
That
second
I
year.
was just about to mention Tyndall. The thing with Tyndall that from what I'm hearing and what I've seen, he's not. How should I put it? He's not. His mindset is not where it should be
Right.
as far as the
Is he
inside
dumb?
linebacker go. No, I'm not. No, I'm not saying he's dumb. He has. His athleticism is off the chain as far as the
Right.
middle linebacker, but he's not catching on to the game like he should. And then also too, you got to remember Fangio's defensive scheme is a little bit complex, so it may take a little time. He has to adjust from the
Brian
Boyer
Flores.
scheme to the
Right. Where he was
Fangio
just
scheme.
learning finally, and then boom, he's gone. I
Right,
know.
exactly. He was just catching on to the Boyer scheme, and in fact, he was playing. He was active last season, but with this Fangio scheme, it's a little
Is that
more
why he
complex
has
than Boyer.
Jerome Baker starting, even though Jerome Baker is very limited?
Well, with Jerome Baker, I can't. Well, just with
No,
Jerome
no,
Baker,
that's what
got to
I'm
remember
saying.
now
Do you think that's why he
he's a
has
veteran.
Jerome starting next to David Long because of the fact that he's a veteran and he might pick up pick up the playbook a lot faster, even though he's limited on what you can do.
I would, well, I mean, my opinion, I would partially say yes because Jerome Baker is a veteran and what have you, and yeah, he does have he does have certain skill sets, but what's the word? He's not a rounded. To me, he's
Well
not a
rounded.
rounded, well-rounded inside
Right, not
linebacker.
a complete
He
linebacker. Yeah.
Right. And then also too, you gotta remember coming out of college, he was an outside linebacker. We experiment with him playing on the inside, and sometimes he didn't do well. He didn't do well, and every so often he did well. So we just with him, we just have to kind of see how things go. I mean,
Yeah,
he's been
and to be
so.
honest, for me,
Hmm.
I've said this multiple times. I think Jerome Baker is what we would consider a traditional weak side linebacker. He's not really like he's not big enough to handle the blocks. Let's be honest. Like he's only 6 foot and I think like 225. He's not big enough to handle offensive line block, like to push off these blocks and stuff like that.
But see, that's why I said that he's more to me of a outside linebacker because well, that's the other thing. The other thing that goes in his favor is he's very speedy, but that's why
Definitely.
he's more of an outside linebacker. I mean, outside linebacker than an inside linebacker because he
And in this scheme, I think Fangio only uses two linebackers, two middle linebackers, and three safeties.
And thank you,
yeah
Franklin.
yeah
Yeah, when
not
you look at Fangio's scheme when he was with the Bears, he used only two middle linebackers and three safeties most of the time with the Bears and the Broncos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
and then
And
no, go ahead, Doctor.
no, I was gonna say no. He
Go ahead.
makes good points and stuff. Fangio is old school like that. So and let's just face it. When you get older in life, you become more set in your
Say
ways, and he's
anyway,
probably
yeah.
very set in. He's very set in his ways. So I agree with all you guys. But even outside of football, we know how people are. We all get set in our own ways, and it's just like,
Hmm.
oh no, this is how
He's
we
very
do it.
like, and this is what happens with older guys. Like there's not a lot of young uh, young coordinators coming. Like that's what the issue too in the NFL. It seems like there's not really a a system to develop young coordinators. You always see the retreads like of older coordinators coming back into the league that seem to be out of touch with what the offenses are doing and stuff like that. Like
No,
there needs to
for
be a better system. The NFL needs to set up a better system to train coordinators to adjust to the times and stuff like that. It seems like the corner. That's why you see a lot of retreads, like guys like a Fangio, who, Wade Phillips.
yeah. No,
Eh,
you're right, Anthony. I mean, but there are some good young coaches out there for sure. But yeah, for the most part, yes, there's a lot of the same names get thrown around in all the different positions, and it's just the way the NFL operates. And it's tough, man. It's very tough to get into that spot to where you get these young coaches.
And that's
The
what's
ones
happening
that
with Belichick. His defense is too his defense, to be honest, is getting too archaic, and that's why you see teams figuring it out a lot faster now.
Yeah,
yeah,
because NFL is changing. It's
It's being
changing.
influenced by college and high school. Most of these offenses are like, you notice the offenses that are being successful now are these like almost air raid type of offenses,
no, of
not
course, because
traditional
that's what
West
they do
Coast.
in right. What they do with the West Coast, quick reads in college, and then that's what all the
Hmm.
quarterbacks know, being in shotgun. So then they get to the NFL, and then that's what they do. The
No,
closet
it's
guy
air
lining
raid.
up.
No, the air raid, the air the con you're seeing more air raid offenses in the NFL. like not like spread air raid offenses. It's not like the traditional West Coast, which what you guys grew up with in the 80s and 90s,
Right.
where
Yeah,
it
I know
was
what you're saying. Yeah, but that's it's and I think Mr. Poker gets basically, just from what's happening in college, you want to be quicker. So you get these players coming from there, and then you see what they're learning in college, so you're like, oh, let's adjust. So when they come into the NFL, it's more or less of the same thing what they've been running in college the past few years. So I do see some adjustments on that front, don't you, Mr. Polk? Is why basically is what they're adapting to what college is teaching these QBs and everything.
Yeah,
and that's why
definitely,
the
especially
corners
with the
are
West
getting
Coast.
bigger and faster too.
Yep.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
yeah.
Mr. Polk.
No, I was saying definitely with the West Coast, but back, um, like I said, that's why the NFL is just changing so much because um, back in the days, you have you had the pocket quarterbacks such as Brady and
Right.
even with Bob Greasy and what have you. The NFL is changing now to where you have to be a mobile quarterback,
Yeah.
more somewhat of a mobile quarterback, or you have to have good pocket presence. So the NFL is just changing all the way, all the way around on offense and defense. And then with Fangio, I gotta say this with Fangio, even though he's old school, seems like lately he is trying to make the adjustments to deal with the players that may not fit his scheme, but he seems like he's trying to adjust to these players so that they can play well and get us through the season where he
Yeah.
can next season get the players that he want. So give kind let's give a little kudos to him also because he's trying to make a few changes, as far as being the old school
Yeah.
defensive coordinator.
No, I know, and I agree, Franklin. Stubbornness don't get you where you. I know, it doesn't get you anywhere. I know it's true, but it's just because I know people are saying he historically has never moved his cornerbacks around to face the best receiver, and that was evident in the Buffalo game. He never said, "Okay," he let cater if Diggs lined up over on Kohu, he didn't move them. Didn't say, "No, X, you go over there." Nothing. They just that's just how they do. He sticks with that. Not saying it's right or wrong, but I think that's part of the why people are wondering this week if he's going to adapt to that and try to get Ramsey where they can make him more of a star position. Some not all game, yeah, have him on the boundary most of the game, but sometimes dump him in on Kelsey and mix up the coverage a little bit. To,
Right.
and that's what I'm just thinking. So hopefully he does that. So, but I do agree, stubbornness is an issue. But we all get stubborn. It's just nature, I guess.
Yeah.
We think the way we do things are the way to do things.
Yeah, we get set
So
in our ways as we get older.
yeah, I know, and it's
Those are
just
facts.
we expect, I guess, that for the other guys to be different, but it's just a simple fact that I would love to see though Ramsey on Kelsey, I really would. But now, are we going to do that? I don't know. I just I'm old school on that, Mr. Polk. I just don't want like their best beaten. The old like in
Hmm.
baseball, when their best slugger comes up, I'd rather, walk around that guy and then let the next guy try to beat you. Don't give the greatest hitter on the team the fat pitch. So same thing in football. And, let someone else. And like in basketball, if someone's going to take the last shot, don't let it be the superstar. Cover his end. Some guy that's a little nervous out there take that last shot and try to. And then
Exactly.
that guy, if he hits it, that's how sports goes. And that's how
Hmm.
I'm taking this Kelsey game. Don't let Kelsey be the guy that puts up monster numbers, gets AFC player of the week like type numbers, and be the reason that we come back with a loss. If we're going to lose, let someone else, beat us on that front.
Right. And I agree with that because on offense, Kelsey is my main concern. On defense is Chris Jones. So right, if we can contain or
Right.
um, slow
And
Kelsey down, then just like you said, let Pacheco try to beat us, or let some of
right.
the wide receivers try to beat us. And we 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 have corners and safety that can probably
Right.
deal with
Deal with
them
those
better
guys.
than
Yep.
Kelsey.
Yep. I know because Kelsey's definitely their big star. I mean, obviously, Patrick
Yep.
Mahomes is the big star, but as far as the receiving targets, Kelsey's his go-to guy. And like
That's
all
it.
great quarterbacks, a lot of them have their go-to guys, but Kelsey is by far and away his big go-to guy. They, they're like by the end of their careers, they're going to break every record of touchdowns together and all kinds of stuff together. So, I mean, they're just incredible. But, and I agree, Mr. Stubbs. Every team ain't the same. You have to do different game plans. And I think they do different game plans. But what we haven't seen this year is like whoever you consider our top corner covering the other team's top receivers. So can that change? Yes, of course it can change. And maybe he wills. Maybe he's been playing it vanilla up to this point, knowing he doesn't have all of his pieces on defense. But now he's getting all of his pieces on defense back. So it may open up the book a little bit more because he's going to have Ramsey and Xavier out there for the first time and Javon Holland this week. So all three of those guys, don't you think, Mr. Crazy Dolphin or Mr. Pope, that's going to help maybe open up the defensive assignments a little bit better and change things up?
Yes, and then the other thing too with Coach McDaniels, I don't think, like I said, I think Coach McDaniel is holding back some of his schemes and plays. He's not going to put all of it out there until we get to. Well, I'm not going to say this game is not important because in some ways it is, but he's not going to reveal everything so that the teams can know how to deal with us ahead of time.
Right.
So he's gonna look at each opponent and come up with schemes and plays to deal with them, give them what they give us, and what have you. And then if we have to make adjustments, make the adjustments. Same with Fangio as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. And on the good front about trying to block Chris Jones up front, the good news is that Connor Williams is back. Bad news,
Mm-hmm.
no Robert Hunt this week,
It's
but at
hurt,
least we
yeah.
got Connor Williams, maybe not Armstead. I guess we'll find out later today or
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow, or maybe wait until game day Sunday. But they have to find a move and open up a spot to bring him back. But they say he's been practicing well, so maybe we will have him. I don't know. I'm not holding my breath on that front, but I
Right.
hope to have him. But then I'm not holding my breath for him to stay healthy because great guy, works so hard, but unfortunately, he just has a history of finding a way to get hurt, and it's just weird things. It's always something new, man. That man, his whole body is aching,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately. So
Yeah.
it's really tough. So, but it'd be nice to have him back this week for sure. I mean, this is the game you want in your full force. I mean, this is the
Yeah.
team, the Super Bowl
Yeah.
champ, old school ways. Super Bowl champs is still the best team the following year until someone takes their crown. And right now, we're facing the best team. Philadelphia might have the best overall record, but end of the day, Kansas City's still defending Super Bowl champions, coming off a loss that you wouldn't expect. So that's going to be a little extra motivation for them. So it's just going to be no easy task come Sunday for the Miami Dolphins, Mr. Sub, Mr. Polk.
Right. No, it's not going to be an easy one. And then we got to keep in mind also too, this Tyreek Hill is playing his former team, so that may give us a little bit of a advantage if he wants to go out there and really show them what they're missing.
Yeah, that's for sure. That is for sure. I agree on that front wholeheartedly. And we'll see, man. I
Yeah.
mean, if he would have gone back to Kansas City, that would have really been insane, man. I wonder how the fans would. It would have been interesting to know how the fans treated him. Did they boo him, cheer him, jeer him? Probably been a
Mm,
mixture of both because some fans would respect him for what he did while he was there, but then others would look at him. You know how fans are. Others would be
yeah.
yelling,
Yeah.
"Boo! You left. We don't
Yeah.
need you."
Yeah. You walked out on us.
I know. So, hey, but it just came a money thing. Kansas City would have probably loved to have him. They couldn't afford him at the time. Miami could afford him at the time, and they can still afford him. But now we're going to be running into the same questions. Like, do we keep Kristen Wilkins and do we keep some of our guys because we're going to be running into those salary cap issues? It happens, and
Yeah.
it's the NFL. It happens. Hopefully, we
Hmm.
can keep most of our guys, and all will be good. So I'm hoping that. Well, Crazy Dolphin is almost at the end. I appreciate you so much joining us today, and all you guys, Mr. Stubbs, if you haven't done so already, know that like button. You guys rock. So, what's your prediction? I'm sorry, we got so much going on there. I forgot. So, what do you think happens this weekend? Mr. Polk, as far as the outcome of the game?
I, my outcome is that we will beat the Kansas City Chiefs, but it's gonna be a close score. It's not gonna be a blowout. It's gonna be a close score, but I think we will beat them. So my prediction is that I can't throw out no numbers because
Right.
it's just so many numbers going. But yes, I think we will get the W, but it's gonna be a tight score.
Yeah, that's how I look at it too. I'm not going to throw out an exact score, but I think the Dolphins win like a field goal type margin, something
Yeah, yeah,
something to
yeah,
that regard, 4-3 points, something. It's going to be a one-score game either direction. And if we get blown out again, then I will start worrying a little bit. But I think
yeah,
we're going to be. I really think we will be competitive in this game. I'm not saying we're
yeah.
going to definitely win, but I definitely think we're going to look a lot better than we did. The score is going to look a lot better than the Buffalo scored look and
Yes. Oh, yeah,
Eagles
for
scored
real.
looked. And it has to because you have to at least start showing you can beat these good teams. At the end of the game, like McDaniel said, it's just one game. Doesn't matter too much as far as the Super Bowl aspirations. You can still have them, but just from the
Hmm.
mental standpoint, even with them, because they would never admit it, but even within the team, it's going to be good because they would never admit it, but they're still human at the end of the day. And you start doubting yourself a little bit. Man, every time you go against these teams, you kind of laid an egg. Is that going to no matter, I don't care how much you say, oh, we don't think that way. They're still human. These thoughts start crossing into your head. Like, man, I don't know if we can beat these good teams. So that's why I think it would also be a good victory this week and get one against a good team to erase that narrative of once and for all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, because I know Franklin Stubbs said, hey, he went with a score 31-23 Miami. So, yeah, that's false. That's almost, yeah, that's at one
Hmm.
score if you go for a 2-point conversion. So
Yeah.
that's right up there in, that neighborhood. So I would love that. I would any score that Miami comes out on top. I don't care if it's 1 point, 10 point,
Exactly.
30 points. If you come out
It's
on top against Kansas City, come out
yeah.
relatively injury free, coming back to the United States into a bye week, we are looking very good. So I would love that no matter what. So that's what I'm looking forward to. It's been too long. I don't know how
Hmm.
old you are, Mr. Polk, but it's been way too long since the Dolphins have played winning games in the playoffs and moving on in the playoffs. It's been way too long. I mean, I have a 21. My son will be 21 this next week, and
Hmm.
he has never seen the Dolphins win a playoff game. So that tells you enough. You can be a little baby, turn into an
Hmm.
adult, and never see the Dolphins win a playoff game. So that's
Well, we
way too long.
well we gotta give a generation a win. A good, like they say, a Super Bowl, so we can change his mind.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, my sons both like the Dolphins. Hey, well, they didn't have much choice, but they both like the Dolphins. But man, they haven't ever seen a winning. They're like, oh my God, why do we like this team?
Hmm.
But I think they will finally get it. So
Yeah. Yeah. We
yeah,
got 2 year window, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, we do. I mean, we got some questions coming up. I would like to find Wilkins, but that's a whole other conversation. That's a whole other debate. I'm about to end the show. I would like to
Right.
see Wilkins remain on the team next year, but it may become a budget thing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Stuff that we
Yes,
can't
sir.
control. But right now, what we can
Hmm.
control is root for our team this Sunday, and it should be a good game. And I thank all you guys for coming in here. I know there's a lot of other great shows going on today, so it is what it is. But I love it. Always fins up, Mr. Franklin Stubbs. Thank you for coming in and chat, and then Ender as always, and Shake Money, and all you guys, Justin, all you guys rock. So with no further ado, sir, Mr. Polk, I'm going to close out the show. Any final
Uh,
thoughts before I close out the show?
yep. Let's go get that W.
Yeah, hey, that's the best closing thought right there. Let's go get that W. And yes, sir, keep it real, Mr. Stubbs. That's what we do. Good
Mhm.
talk. Thank you, guys. Fins up,
Thank you.
everyone.
Dolphins thirsty, they never show no mercy. On the field or in the game, Miami knows how to play. Dolphins thirsty, we all get down and dirty. Tell you what you wanna know, it's the Dolphins Show. Quench your thirst for all things Miami Dolphins. They are the football kings, cause they play to win. Come on in and have some fun, whether we have lost or